good evening to all of you. On behalf of TCS IAN, I welcome you all to the session. I am Prakhar Garg, Program Director at TCS IAN Direct. Today, we can see education institutes adapting social media development into their systems and relying on group source resources and mechanisms to improve life of students. Social media plays a vital role in every student's life. With its help, providing and fetching a lot of information, communicating with friends, classmates, teachers and colleagues have become an easy fit option. Students and teachers now get connected while making better use of this platform for gaining and providing education respectively. Social network tools afford students and institutions with multiple opportunities to improve learning methods. Through these networks, you can incorporate social media plugins that enable sharing and interaction. Students can benefit from online tutorials through YouTube, online courses delivered by university abroad through Skype, and wide range of resources that are shared through social networks. In this session, we have invited a distinguished expert to talk about social media in education, its benefits and challenges. It is my pleasure and honor to welcome and introduce our guest speaker today, Ms. Swarnima Luthra. Ms. Swarnima Luthra is the principal of ASN Senior Secondary School, Mayuri, New Delhi. It is ranked among top 10 Delhi schools in Delhi NCR. She has 25 years plus experience in education sector, a vibrant, inquisitive, and purposeful learner. She believes in academical, rigorous, and alive curriculum, having high level of student engagement and learning. Her pragmatism and good forethought help in the materialization of laudable projects of ASN. Thus, she navigated the school children among path of success. She has had the privilege to lead initiatives like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which further won appreciation from Honorable Prime Minister. She has led various campaigns to create awareness for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. She has also traveled across South Asia, Finland, Malta for professional experiences, adding value to the school. She has won numerous awards and recognition. Some of those are CBSE National Teacher Award, State Teacher Awards by DOE, International School Awards by British Council, Exemplary Educational Leader by Scaffold London, UK in 2018, and many more. We welcome you, ma'am. It is an honor and pleasure to have you here with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So, ma'am, my first question would be to you is, for the benefit of our viewers, could you please tell us what are the key roles of social media in education? And why should teacher use social media in teaching?
See, I feel social media is a novel media technology in education. The key role of social media is to enhance overall teaching learning processes. Because these days, we know that social media is availing everywhere, whatever we go about, wherever we go about. So why not in teaching learning process? Ultimately, it helps in expanding the horizons of both the students as well as the teachers. We all know that students' engagement can be increased by social media because everybody we know they are into social media these days. Nobody is going for the offline things. Everybody is on the portals and other things. So it's better if we use them and we collaborate and teaching students of 21st century learners. It's very good that we are going as per the things. Social media can definitely be an effective learning tool in the school and as well as in higher education. We know that by introducing all such means, we are really having the better interaction between students and the facilitators and better student engagement, then ultimately improving the communication part. That whatever, when the offline things were there, we were not able to communicate it properly. But with the apps like Snap Homework and other things, we are able to communicate with parents, with students very efficiently. And ultimately, we know that we all are at our places with physical distancing and other things. But why it is social media only that has protected us to be alive by discussing anything with our peer mates, by really coming up with social communication part through various groups, WhatsApp and LinkedIn and various other platforms are there. So ultimately, I feel that we cannot survive without social media these days. And ultimately, social media is really nurturing when we go about, even student-centric learning can happen through social media. And emerging role of social media in teaching can never be ignored. By leveraging the potential of social media, the teachers are trying their best to simplify the complexities of learning by really sending the small modules, whatever teachers they are making through various apps and other things. They are sending to the students. Ultimately, the teaching learning process is being streamlined. So I would say that we have to be connected. We have to be social. So social media is the thing which has to go hand in hand with the education. That's all. And there is so much to speak about that without social media, we cannot survive these days.
Yes, I agree. The social media is kind of a very essential thing right now, and especially considering the COVID regulation that we are in right now. I understand it is pretty much kind of a necessity. Otherwise, the education would not have been continued with the things that have happened.
Yes. I still remember, Prakhar, when it was 19th March last year, what happened? We all were in dark that what is going to happen. It was only through various platforms and social media only we were in touch with each other. A man is a social animal, and if the social part is missing, then only it becomes an animal. So it was the social media only that made us all alive and survive, and we were able to continue our education, and we were able to really facilitate the students with the social media sites itself and with various platforms.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for mentioning that you have been using a lot of platforms. So can you suggest which social media platforms are currently used most in education? And do we have some social media platform exclusively for educating the young learners?
Yes, sure. I would say Facebook, Blogger, WordPress, WhatsApp groups, and Twitter, then Skype, Pinterest, YouTube. And we all know about children, they are into Instagram and other things. So why not engage them, channelize their energy in such a way where they are able to, they know the best of those sites. So why not really channelize to those sites itself and bring them to for the education part. So major part is few of them are restricted to students age of 14 and above. So we need to see that which kind of media are we using for the students. Here I would like to iterate that students love connecting with their friends and family members through Facebook. So telling them to check out specially created, teacher can create the Facebook pages of the class itself, where normal things could not be posted, but the class activities could be posted in which students are doing something great, and that could be reflected on that. And even teaching part could be done through YouTube tutorials by the teachers and hashtagging all the students. And ultimately, even the other educators, for example, teacher and teacher, they are collaborating for a particular subject. So they can come together, and even with the older students, such kind of things could happen about YouTube tutorials. Ultimately, it really builds rapport and comfort between educator and students. And if we say that the gap between teacher and the taught has really been reduced by use of the social medias. And even teachers, the best way to use Twitter for teaching is it can be as a reminder for completion of assignments on the due dates, and even teachers or even students can post of inspirational quotes. We know that yoga is really mandatory these days, so why not even morning hours, we have various sites also, we have various apps also where students can log in and teachers can log in. They can together do some yoga session, 5 to 6 or something. Even day planning, they could do it together so that everything is in place. Even parents and children, they can work upon that way. If parents are working these days, so they can design that what best they could time they could allocate for the things. Instagram, that is also an online tool which is used by the students to share information and interact with their fellow mates. And we know about Pinterest. It's commonly used teaching tool. It really encourages collaboration between the teachers. And I have seen teachers, even I also work upon with Pinterest much, where I select the things, whatever suits me best. And even I do share with my teachers. So this way, teachers and students can also work upon, and series of workshops could happen that way. Even students can act like a teacher and they can work upon specific teams. And we know that LinkedIn is also used these days for connecting people. So the apps are n number, the portals are n number. It's we who have to choose what kind of thing we require. And we know that these days LinkedIn is so very much used for connecting people, getting placements, short-term jobs all over the world. So any person can go anywhere and everywhere. I still remember my computer teachers, they are using Google Co-app while teaching Python to the AI batch. So anything can go about. If we talk about higher education, where lab roots, research gates, they're commonly used by the research scholars and the senior collegiates for really discussing about what is scientific news coming on, and how to go about research processes. And a small thing I would like to share with that Culture Inside, it's a portal where where the space is being created for online and actual galleries. It can take you to the actual galleries all over the world. And at the same time, a space is being created for the online things, and it is really meant for the artist. I feel students can make profit even from the creativity they possess through making of different kind of posters and other things. And apart from that, students and teachers can use the Gogo Yoko app. That is for sharing and streaming of music. And you'll be happy to know that this app is being used mostly in the foreign schools, where small students, they earn out of it by promoting their music. So in India, we don't use these two apps, but naturally we can really explore more and bring entrepreneur dimension in the students' learning. And since when I was looking at what is being used abroad, so I was happy to see that these two specifically apps we can also use in our education system, because I started entrepreneurship curriculum, and it would be really great for the students to work upon these things. And if you talk about the younger students, I hope you discuss me that also. If we see about younger students, so TEDx, this is a site which offers invaluable discussions on various topics, and it is under parent supervision the children can go about. And there is one more thing, El Modo. It's really act like a playground for teaching and learning, with a special place for post, for calendar, for general communication. And we know that there is various sites, Facebook and other things is there. But for students, young learners, Facebook Messenger Kids is there, Kinzo and Village Social, to name a few. But otherwise, there is so much available. The only thing is, an educator has to take the initiative that which is good for the students and which is bad. And accordingly, we can frame the things. So there is no end to technology, there is no end to innovation. So looking forward, the world that has changed drastically is going to give us many more things in the years to come.
Exactly. I completely understand. The opportunities are endless right now with the advent of social media and all those things. The app which you mentioned actually is obviously promoting entrepreneurship as well. It's really commendable that you have a specific curriculum about entrepreneurship in your school, which is very, very interesting. But I would also say, like, things like these arts and gallery things and courses about videos and music, they will also explore the student to the more creative and art fields. Because if we see, our general perception is to have students learn more about science, maths, arts. So these kind of and not just actually going into the art fields, these kind of practices make them more confident, make more personal, like I'll say, develop their own personality as well. That is really interesting. Yes. So thank you for bringing those ideas. I think a lot of platforms are there. So, ma'am,
what we are doing is, Prakhar, one more thing I would like to bring to notice, that I talked about entrepreneurship. So there we have given a place to the students where they are doing the online music and all those things they are composing, and that thing they are posting on their YouTube channels. So there is no end to students' creativity as well. The way innovations are coming, so students, they are really updating themselves and they are coming up with much more things ahead.
Obviously, these are the Gen Z generation. I think they know much more technology than us. So, ma'am, does the development of social media portals and education processes, how did the overall outcomes of implementation have been like? Can you please share some outcomes of implementation of social media that you utilize in your school classroom?
Yes, sure. Earlier also I told you that with the rise of smartphones, laptops, expanding Wi-Fi, it's a high time we as facilitator bring everything in the classroom, whatever is best for the students, whether it is online mode or offline mode. And I'm really happy to share that the way teachers have really brought many innovations in the classroom, and students also too, they are coming up with so much of insights that it appears as if whole it's an area of it's a land of innovation going on. And for example, I would like to share that the students with Skype in the classroom, teachers, they took them beyond the borders, studying minutely about the location of geographical sites, interacting with different schools. And when they were studying geography part, they could see that normally they were doing just by reading the chapters and other things. Now they're going to those sites. It was possible by the Microsoft app, and interacting with different schools and experts in various fields, online webinars. It has happened that somebody's US, UK, Canada, we all were, it's like a global platform. It has come up. Vasudev Kutumbakam India is known as. And I feel this technology and everything has brought everything under one roof. So along with that, if we say that it has really helped students with innovative ideas, and we have really come up with the Facebook pages of the students they created under the supervision of the elders, and they posted, even they have shared the opinions on that particular topic, whatever teachers they have given. Along with that, in the classroom, those debates have been continued just to apprise them what exactly, for example, various whatever is going on these days have been chosen by the teachers as a Facebook page. And then students, elder students, they posted, the junior ones are really coming up with the ideas that what exactly is it, up to what extent, what is their opinion in that. And those discussions, group discussions, online discussions are going on, deliberations are going on. And ultimately, I have seen that children, they have really, each day, they are becoming better critical thinker, strong opinion sharer. So each day learning is happening. And even with Twitter, it is one activity is there, tweet it. Anything, whatever teacher feels, they start those things. For example, character or a story. A small character in the story could be shared in the form of a tweet. And class Twitter account could be created by, there are many persons who are here today. They can also start up these activities within the system. That small Twitter account of the classes could be created where students, they are commenting, and all those hashtagging and other things are going on simultaneously. So definitely it's going to give better results, whether it's an online mode or an offline mode, both the sites going on together. And I've seen that with parents also, we do that chat and learn thing, where, for example, it was we were taking up the counseling session orientation with the parents, and whatever the things we have Jolly Phonics system in our school. So about whatever the parents, they were having the doubts and other things, with chat and learn causes, we were able to really bring difference, and we were able to connect parents properly. And with parents also, if it has happened, so naturally with the kids, they were with the kids, and we can see the difference that each day children, they are, even the nursery kids, they are learning so much. Whenever something is flip learn part is being given, shared with them, each day new innovations are coming to them. So looking forward that in the years to come, many things would be there. And for example, one more example I would quote here, any article writing, for example, teacher, they are interested to give. So about brainstorming, putting the article on the blog of a teacher or the student, whatever anybody can go about, and then teachers can post the topics in the blog, and for the brainstorming being done, providing support and revising the things, and specific topics are being given, and over a time is being given that TK, you need to prepare these things, and by the end of the day we'll be discussing. And we know that CBSE exams have been now cancelled long back, and now new things are to be thought of by the educators, that what things can we introduce for the students, that we are assessing them properly. So social media can be connect like a platform to assess also, because everything is being recorded. The type of comments the students are writing on any blog, for English it can be easily assessed what kind of language child has got. And for maths, we have TagHive. It's an app by a Korean person, and students are really doing each day on that app, and each day they are being given the questions, and they're doing those things. So what kind of learning is happening? It's a remarkable thing that they are really bothered about to enhance their acumen. And in the Thoughts Lab, children, they work upon in the lessons of community service, they speak about that what kind of things, what kind of justice they require, what are the various things. For example, Save Girl Child, Save Environment, such kind of small initiatives are being taken by the school, and students there reflect on their thoughts, that what exactly they want and how could the roadmap be further for bringing all such changes, because students are the change makers. So until unless we ignite them, we cannot get best out of them. And seeing the things that we know, that we have to prepare the students for the tomorrow which we do not know. We were not aware that what is going to happen. We were not aware that our medicines and our hospitals are not equipped with so much of stuff that it could cater so many COVID patients. So we do not know what is going to come next. Now it's a high time for the educators to really make students competent enough for this 21st century, and for any of the mishap that's going to come, for any of the situation. So it's better we teach them that how to think and how to solve the problem. So within the course of the system, it's a responsibility of the school to prepare the students to become problem solvers, decision makers. So with small such things, we are definitely trying our best to give the best to the students, to ignite them. We can just provide the platforms, but ultimately students, they have to take the lead. And each teacher, each educator, each school has to work upon with the student for such work. And we do communicate with MS Teams on app for the parents also, for the parents teachers meeting, and we have seen that much result is coming in the form of time saving, and we have quick response from the parent side. So it's not that the parents cannot be connected. We see that in this area, parents are with us, and we together, parents and teachers, can definitely bring remarkable difference in the student's life. And in a nutshell, I would say the implementation of the social media has really brought revolution in the school classrooms. And that's it. And there is much more to look upon to see that so many innovations are happening, and we really need to make ourselves competent enough to face the challenges. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. I think quite a lot of examples over there. There's like a very wonderful example of putting up a word or something of a story beginner in Twitter, and then students started following it up with more and more articles. That was really interesting. And then obviously putting students into the more real life scenarios you mentioned about COVID or something, Save Girl Child kind of scenarios. So obviously getting them a kind of understanding of the community and their responsibility that they are going to develop over the years. And obviously these kind of pushing them towards the higher level, I think higher order thinking skills, I would say. So that is really interesting that we can use social media in all those areas. Thank you for bringing those examples, ma'am. Ma'am, just like you mentioned that, and obviously there's just like the technology is moving forward, we have to kind of get ahead and learn those things. So with social media coming in, there would be a lot of changes in educational kind of the processes, how you are teaching, or the methodologies. So would you like to maybe put some light on it, how the faculties and the educators themselves can maybe modify their processes to better suit the social media?
See, everything comes with pros and cons. We know that. Anything we initialize or anything we start up, it's with pros and cons. So definitely pros are many and cons are many. So, but it's a wonderful opportunity in the form of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that has really connected people and made communication easier. Gone are the days when we had to wait for days and months to communicate with any person. Now it's a time whenever I think of, okay, I need to connect with somebody in US, I'm able to connect in a day or maximum by 2. That is also the thing, if that person has not seen the mail or something like that. But otherwise, I'm able to connect within no moment of time. So the world has become so closure, and everything is so near to us. But the benefits are also there. We have seen that new digital literacy skills have to be developed in the students, and we have seen that teachers, students, all have been really doing the best in this thing, and each day learning something other things. So it's a major benefit which I've seen with it, and improving knowledge, retention, understanding, and the class participation and the motivation of students have really increased whenever we are using this social media into our teaching. And the community itself, when we are connecting with the people and when we are connecting abroad, it's whole that global, we are acting as a global community coming together. So there is so much to go about that I've just given you the example of writing on a blog or something. So naturally, students, they improve their writing skills. And when they're giving the feedback to the concerned child, that really improves that their critical thinking, that what are they thinking about those things, self-reflection things are increasing, which was missing earlier because they were not getting any time for self-reflection. And we know that students are on those media itself, then why not use it, why not utilize those things, their potential, and give them an open arena where they are not sitting in those cocoons, they are out of their Zooms, and they are really coming up with different writing styles. Teachers, they are just guiding them, and students, they come up with so many ideas with adding images to it. I still remember all the class assemblies and other things. Children, we need to give them the topic, and they are coming in with so much suggestions and everything. Video, what is to be done, they make those videos. What design should be of the card, they make those cards. We do not tell them that this is to be inserted and what is not to be inserted. They are quite aware of and seeing all what is the trend going on internationally. They go about with that itself. And so all the classroom knowledge, it's being made public in the form of we do present all our things on our social medias, Facebooks and other things. So everything is being on public itself. So children, they are quite happy that whatever they are exhibiting, they were exhibiting inside the classroom, that's being made public, and everybody is viewing at their own pace and own time, and it's going on. And ultimately, I have seen that students' personalities day by day reforming. Each day we find difference and attitude towards working in that zone itself. I can understand, see, there are challenges also, but when I see that students, they are becoming tech savvy day by day, and they know that how to handle all such things. Even many times few students are really coming up to that very extent, they are the hackers. So learning, it has no end to it. And ultimately, what we need to prepare them for? It's a global competency and digital citizenship that we are able to get it. I still remember few years back, our Prime Minister telling that I want to make digital India. And within this click of a button, whole thing has been digital. Nothing is on paper. Everything is going on remote modes, and so much well-set students. So I would say it's all good happening and all around. But at the same side, we'll have to see the flip side of it as well. Because see, we know that students and instructors are together on the social media. So there are certain distractions as well, which facilitator and students, they need to understand. What kind of information is being posted on the Facebook page. See, teacher, if all the students are at the friend list of the teacher, then teacher has to see that a certain account have to be made separately. The personal and the professional accounts are to be separated. That thing is a major part. And apart from that, see, we know that there are so many distractions coming on the way whenever children, they are into the classrooms. anything is beeping again and again because children have their all the messages up, all the notifications up, and what kind of things our social media is serving. We need to really have an eye on that. And parents, they need to see, because teachers are not with them. So parents, they need to see that what kind of things children they are watching on these media sites. Major part is that. And further, let me just take you that what about the assessment part? Because there are certain limitations whenever we need to check the student proficiency. For example, children might be good at writing something, but we need to see that whether he is able to communicate or not. So we'll have to collaborate those tools into the classrooms where all the challenges are being overcome. That if we want to make our students competent enough for 21st century, naturally communication, critical thinking, and further looking by head, heart and hand, are the things going on simultaneously or not? So judging all those things, it cannot be done just by social media. So a social connect has to be made. And you'll be happy to know, for overcoming such challenges, we have a special meeting with all my students, all my teachers. They have 5 students in a day. That is a social emotional connect program that's going on, just to see that what glitches, what problem are the students facing, and how to engulf such gaps where we find that we are not able to go just by teaching and learning part. What extra things we could support outside the classroom. Those things are simultaneously going on. And if we say that what are the various other challenges, at the initial phase, I found that teachers, they were, because everybody is not good at technology skills. So we need to see that everybody has to be equipped with, and within no time, I feel many of the teachers, they really embrace the technology. And in my school, 100% teachers, they were able to do the best within 2 days. I could see that thing. And without, somewhere I've seen that few students, they don't have gadgets. So naturally challenges are there, but the thing is there, we are always there to support them. There are few EWS students who require support. So our different apps are there. I have Snap Homework app, and WhatsApp groups are there, where we do share all those assignments and all the teaching parts within the system. And apart from that, we all know that with social media, it is definitely attached those abuses, that cyber safety issues. So major part is we need to how to overcome all those abuses. So for that part, it's a teacher and the parent and the child. We all need to have a special code of conduct, which each one of us have to follow. Because social media, it has become a powerful weapon to defame the other person's and identity, and it could even damage personal life, career, reputation, and even health beyond damage. So it is we who have to take initiative that how to overcome all such challenges. And we have seen that sometimes children, when everything is being on the social media, children sometimes they ignore teachers' lectures. So an equilibrium has to be maintained, that what my teacher is teaching and how to really combat all those things and bring together those thoughts. So with everything, pros and cons are there. So naturally, it's a teachers and or the parents and the facilitators. They are supposed to spearhead this responsibility of sensitizing the students on such issues where naturally with the it's a school approach that has to go. That means I told you earlier also, a code of conduct has to be made, and on that code of conduct for teachers, code of conduct for students, code of conduct for parents. So everything has to go hand in hand. Here I still remember when we started Microsoft Teams in the school in March itself. Then I found in the initial days, few students, they use somebody else IDs and they pipped in other sections. And it happened that children, they were posting something rubbish. So we could make it out, and ultimately those students, they were taught by the cyber experts. I brought in cyber expert in picture, and they all told that what kind of rule is being applicable and what law is really telling you that what is to be posted, what not to be posted. So all these things have to be aligned with that thing. So I feel that it's the teachers, parents, and the students, they need to work hand in hand to bring the best in their classes. Challenges must be there. They are there. We all know that. But we all can overcome those challenges with our efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think you covered a lot of points over here. So a lot of things that we have learned over the years, and obviously a lot of challenges that have come, and obviously we have to grow out of them. This is really interesting, and it actually answers one of the questions from our audience. We were talking about how teachers can protect student privacy. So thank you for covering that as well. There's another question that is coming up, and it's Sanjay who's asking, with a lot of multiple information flowing at multiple channels, so how should teachers can actually, is there any way how teachers should be able to collate all these information and come to a conclusion when they are trying to assess a particular skill or assess a particular topic?
See, if I say that there are so many things, we know that there is so much available in the market, but what content is good, what is bad, naturally it's a teacher who has to see to that content. Then only, without the supervision of the teacher, nothing can go that way. And apart from that, teachers can make their own online courses. Small lectures could be posted by the teachers if they're not getting from one area itself that this is good or this is bad. Whatever the good on different sides, that can be collaborated and can be formed in the form of a small course by the teacher. There are various sites available. There are various tools available to create the videos. Even my teachers, they are creating so many videos each day. Even students, they are creating. And certain YouTube channels could also be started by the teachers. And I was happy to see that when I was just discussing my students, many of them, they themselves have made around, I feel, 90 students of my middle wing. They have made YouTube channels of their own during this lockdown period itself. Just see, though, there is no end to end. Every stuff, whatever they are posting, that is being censored by the teachers concerned. So there is no end to it.
Yes, there is no end to it. There is actually more and more possibilities that are arising every time. So that is really lovely. There is another question that is coming from Payal. So when you start putting up these activity into a social media, so do we prepare any roadmap that, okay, this activity will go for, say, YouTube, this activity should go for LinkedIn, or this activity should go for Twitter, and then next stages can go to the next app? So any of those plans, how do you plan all these things?
See, we need to see what kind of activity it is. Accordingly, we can plan. For example, it's a publicity side. So naturally, Facebook, usually children above 14 years, they are there. And if we are going, what kind of clientage are we serving? For example, it is something related with specific mark is there. For example, board exams have been abolished. So that activity has to be everywhere. And if it's a school activity, and if it is a normal one, and you will be happy to know that there are specific tools, Sprouts, something is there which really align all such things. Only one member can handle all the medias, and only with one member everything can be settled on. So a person can work upon that way. And if you say about selecting, so naturally Twitter, only the educational part cannot be there. Whatever is going on, whatever the latest thing, that can also be tweeted. But we need to see that for whom are we doing, what kind of persons are we going to target. If it's a parent, then naturally parent news has to be there. So we need to work upon at the back end first. A roadmap has to be developed. School has to make a system. That means seeing it's a whole management and the whole team of in charges sitting, and they can plan it together. That what kind of news, it's a roadmap we need to prepare.
Thank you, ma'am. I think, yes, we have to prepare a roadmap, and then we have to choose based on the activity, based on the task that we have at hand. And then obviously, as we move on, we come to the next step, and then we again analyze, we reflect back and understand.
That what is acting best. Suppose we want for admission. So which media is really supporting us, and which area we want to go. For example, it's a Facebook. We want to just move in the 3 kilometers range. So naturally Facebook part is enough. But if we want to reach beyond that, So naturally, other platforms, Twitter or other things, can be used.
Thank you, ma'am. There is one more question coming in from, let me take this one. So Meghna is asking, what is the best online and offline software to create videos for the courses?
See, my teachers, they are working on Canva more, and they are working on, students, they are working on Kingston, and one more is there, Vimeo. And I have seen many of the paid software there, Teachable, Adobe Captivate, then we have Thinkific, and one I told about KindMaster. Students, they are using much for creating their online videos also. So each day, on each activity, I find students posting, for example, World Environment Day was there. They did various activities, they clubbed and they made the video and they only posted on the Facebook. So there are many more are available. We can go about for n number of things.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the insightful discussion. Can you please maybe let's wrap it up? I think we are very much close to our closing time. So can you please share some key takeaways for our audience?
Yes. I would say that in this era of globalization, where this is really booming, social media is booming all around. Now it's we who have to select that whatever is good in the society, we need to take up, and we'll have to make ourselves competent enough to see how to handle these social medias. Because it's not only one thing that's coming on each day, something or the other thing is coming on. It's each teacher, each student who have to see that become responsible netizen and understand each platform, what are the pros and cons of that, and whatever the information I'm posting, that has to be the genuine one. And at the same time, we'll need to respect everybody's privacy and how to go about understand all those fundamentals about these things. So ultimately becoming responsible netizens, that's a major point.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a very wonderful webinar, very interesting, and I think a lot of things that I myself learned today about how we can use social media, and it is a really commendable job that you and your team are doing. So thank you for sharing all this information with us. I'm quite sure it will help the other educators who have joined us today to maybe imbibe some of these technologies in their schools, colleges, and maybe help their students even further to interact with them. So thank you again. Thank you, everyone. Again, thank you, ma'am. It's an honor and privilege to have you here with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Prakhar, and the whole audience here. Thank you so much for being with me today, and looking forward to many more sessions ahead. Thank you so much once again to TCS family. Thank you.